What's up, Army? Welcome back to Redemption 46 Studios. I'm Nick.
Keith.
I'm Curtis.
You know the vibes. Y'all seen the picture. Y'all seen the thumbnail. Y'all know why y'all here. Jimin, like crazy dance practice. It's crazy that you're not subscribed to this channel. Hit that subscribe button and become a real redeemer today. Also, for crazy content like this, jump on the Patreon. It's a dance practice up there for Set Me Free Part 2. Album review for the whole Jimin album, a couple B-sides that haven't dropped on there. Face the Music. The Jimmy Fallon stuff is also up on there, and other content that's blocked. Bunch of BTS related stuff on there. New BTS stuff is coming too. Make sure you guys are on at the beginning of the month because there's gonna be some bangers. When that Stetchy Tie episode drop, we're dropping it. But yeah, man, no long talk. We can jump into the choreo for this and have a discussion when we are done. Got here. Fun fact, Jimin made that shirt. Shit. Footwork.
So smooth. Something about that like 80s synth too.
It hits you with classic yet nostalgic vibes kind of at the same time.
Well timed.
Fucking vibe.
Vocals too. Love that choice too with the camera at the end.
He's an angel.
This choreo is incredible.
Yeah, y'all crazy if y'all aren't subscribed. About 75% of y'all aren't. So do me a favor. Stop what you're doing. Check to make sure you subscribe. Cool. Welcome back to the channel.
Welcome back.
You know why that the mirroring part with the girl is decent as well? It also does like give you club energy too, like as far as like a vibe goes and shit, where you could have been drunk stumbling upon something out on the dance floor and kind of got into a little, you know, like a little joint. I feel like the thing that we've talked about the most, and make sure y'all on the Patreon album review fully in there, and you'll get a little bit more detail what we're talking about. I feel like there were so many like double and triple entendres with so many things that were done on the album, and obviously it was purposely. But it sets up the stage for so many either like theories or so many different points of views with everything, whether it was contextually on whatever the lyrics were saying, whether it was through the MV, whether it was through dance practice. It's just like kind of so many different directions you can go in with a lot of things. And it's been interesting to hear like Redeemers and even us come up with like different perspectives on like, oh, okay, well the lyrics meant this, or it was, it was self-doubt about this and this was going on here. And I felt like the album, it just did like a really good job of doing everything. And I think now after getting everything, you can look at those songs a little bit differently. Because not to run on a tangent now, even you'll look at Set Me Free a little bit more different now after hearing the whole album.
Definitely.
And you just like, oh shit, like, now it kind of does make sense a little bit more. But yeah, as far as purely just dancing and everything, I like this. I might like this better than the live performance. I thought it was a lot more fluid here. Not to say like the live performance.
I was about to say, no knock on the American dancers, but these guys were definitely a lot cleaner.
Yeah, and I didn't want to shit on anybody because I was about to say I noticed the backup dancers have changed too. So sometimes those could be things where those were the dancers available to Fallon or just available, in America versus him having the people who probably did the choreo. But I thought the backup dancers kind of carried a little bit more in the sense of like everything is a little bit more flushed here and a little bit more. It's just smooth running a little bit more, at least in my opinion. But I like this a lot, man. He's really walking around with a certain type of energy, and I keep bringing up like Prince and MJ and shit, and it's only because those are kind of like those people within the space that are iconic. Yeah, and just kind of have that aura and stuff. You probably can name a few more people and shit, but it's just like
Rick James.
Listen. No, but you can name a few people, but he's really carrying around that energy. Like he's him. He's Himothy. People we really gotta start him, and yeah, we said that, so we was like him. No, people said we should have coined that because I think we was the first people calling him Trap Jimin.
Damn.
Yeah. Nah, but whether it's Trap Jimin, whether it's like Sexy Bedtime Drunk Little Prince. Like he really came to play like
Jimin.
Right, he really came to play like on this album, and I feel like
hit it out the park, Jimin.
He hit it out the park.
Is that something? I might just coin something.
I think he parked some of these haters.
And we're done.
It's like we right there.
But nah, I just felt like he was able to do things that we didn't see him do before, able to play with really the production, auto-tune, and some inflections on his voice that were like unique that we haven't seen done before. He really brought everything out for this album, and I'm really proud of him, and I really think that like he really did his thing. This was different. This was honestly, and I'm the biggest Jimin fan in the world, this was way better than I expected it was going to be. Just in the sense of, I told you, I thought, not to run on a tangent, but it would be very interesting to see what direction he would want to go in as far as like musicality. Just, what he would feel comfortable doing, and what he wants the world to see. It's kind of like his coming out party, essentially, for his project. And I feel like he did a phenomenal job.
Especially with all the eyes on you, like at the platform, the level, that you're kind of at.
Yeah, and you coming off of a situation where, everyone's hit it out the park with BTS, really.
Yep. You
since
be the one to drop the
everything.
ball.
Yeah, you really don't. And it's just like, Jin had his moment with the astronaut and really killed that. Suge has been doing nothing but killing everything since like that and everything. RM, you know what I mean, with the whole like Indigo and just with like Sexy Nukem. Sexy Nukem. I like Sexy Nukem. The J. Cole feature, Hovey Palooza. So,
Even had the Crush feature too.
Yeah, JK, Left and Right, and Dreamers.
Yeah.
So, everyone has been taking their time coming out, doing things, knocking it out the park. And as soon as he came out with Vibe, you kind of just felt it. You kind of just already like, oh, okay, he he on some shit. He told you, and this could be the one and only anthem. It was just like, all right, maybe it is, Jimmy. You know, we with you, little sneaky. But with that being said, he turned up, he killed it, ran on a little bit of tangent, but I just want to say I'm really proud of him, and I'm glad that he's doing what he's doing. You know, we support BTS and all its members in entirety. Glad to see that they are just individually still being stars. Can't wait to see what's next.
And to kind of touch on, you know, just how much of a dark place he was in, you know, around these times, and again, you know, how much context that adds to some of those other tracks that, you know, we had seen, and just knowing, you know, honestly what they had the mask. I mean, no pun intended with the face, you know, and everything, you know, taking the mask off, so to speak, you know, and
filling those holes.
And all the metaphors that kind of go into that, both with literally with COVID and just, you know, the emotions that you're masking and everything. But basically to have been going through all that at that time, you know, and just to see like him touch on that subject matter, but also get to a place where he seems like he's healed from that now, at least. And I know that's something that we've talked about that BTS, you know, does, as far as like, you know, they'll kind of handle everything in-house as far as like how they feel about a particular thing, then process it. And once they're processed, and then, you know, a couple months, years, whatever the case may be down the line, they'll kind of open up about it a bit more. So it's just to know that he's in a better place from this, even though this is kind of fresh information, obviously, to us and to Army and everything, you know, as far as like collectively worldwide, to know that he's, you know, in a better place to kind of, you know, talk about those things and everything now. I just think that that's an incredible step as well.
Yeah, Keith, you want to jump in?
After watching this official dance practice again, I am more convinced than anything that he's fucking drunk, bro. Like, even if you look at like this part, everybody's in the line, and we've seen them do this in like Blood, Sweat, and Tears, and we've seen them do this in like, you know, Fake Love and things like that, where they kind of do like the shadow step off, but everybody's so sloppy and bumping into each other. Like, it's like his afterthoughts. You know how when you think you're walking smoothly, but you're really stumbling around? Like, that's the kind of image it's giving me. And even when he runs into the girls, like, look at his, don't look at them, look at his body movements. Like, he's literally like just kind of just losing his balance everywhere. It's like, I can't
He's being tugged,
get
like,
my balance.
all the members.
I thought he was going to suck that shitty hand right
but
there.
that might be how he feels, but the reality is he just can't stay up straight.
I don't know how, my fault, I missed it. I don't know how he missed her hand. She did the whole hand thing in front of him, and he totally missed it. He said, oh.
I'm glad he didn't step on her.
Truthfully, I thought that was intentional, though.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure it was like intentional.
Well, because, you know, in the video, he's like in the crowd, he's trying to connect with people. Everyone's like kind of with someone else or whatever. So I thought it was like something like that. But honestly,
I think he's actually alone after watching this. Like, there's nobody that's like there. Like, that might just be the way he's feeling.
Funny. You
and even
like
when
it's the sixth sense.
even when everybody couples up, he's still technically by himself. And even when they break, like, they're just breaking into a formation, not necessarily like doing with him. And even that move right there where he's holding his head, he's like, I'm drunk, I'm fucked up, I'm holding my head. Like, and he does it like on multiple occasions in the choreo.
It works. They're supposed to be his reflection, so
yeah, it's just like.
But they touch him there.
That drink makes him feel nice and warm and calm.
So they touch him there. And then
you know what I mean? And now
him.
he's about to fall, but he catches himself. You know what I mean? Like, it's just.
Or that was Army that caught him.
Yeah,
So, no,
you can do it that way. I mean, reach for that top shelf. But like, even this part. So like, this is the part when he's technically in the bathroom, right? So he's wiping his face down with cold water. Then he's pushing water in his hair. Now he's trying to get his balance, but he just can't. He falls against the wall. You know what I mean? Like, all those things like that we see in a video can be translated differently, especially under the guise that he is completely shit-faced. Because we see it when people are completely shit-faced. And you know what I mean? Like, I'm more convinced that he is definitely just fucking drunk after watching the choreo again.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I just think it's incredible storytelling, though, personally.
Yeah, I told you I didn't have an issue with, I don't have an issue with anybody's theory, but with the whole, like, he's drunk. Like I said, people were saying they think he was so drunk that he fell asleep and all this is a dream.
No, absolutely.
Like, so
even in the beginning of the videos, that's the vibe it gets. Like, just being yanked.
We caught it on the joint where we was just as like, it looked like on the MV he fell asleep at the table, and then the dream he just jumped into another room. Redeemers, if any of you ever fell asleep and inside of your dream, every time you go into a different room, you're in a different place.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that shit happened. So that kind of happened in the MV. And
I thought he was recalling the night before, but even so, it's just like everything like kind of led
I like that too with the whole because it did like a rewind kind of thing in the joint. It just was like, oh, okay, maybe I'm just rethinking about like yesterday. So it's so many different.
The only caveat I would have to that is we're in the COVID. He can't go anywhere. You know what I mean? So it would just be him just imagining being out.
What you're saying.
As like what I want to do, what my desire is, but I can't. So I'm just getting drunk in the house and I'm falling asleep at the kitchen table.
Yeah.
Damn. You know what I mean? And then he gets sucked into what his fantasy would be to like where he wants to go, where the drink, where the alcohol, where
they were still with all the other members and everything, right? Because they were still working hard with Dynamite and everything else as far as like and B album and all that, if I'm not mistaken. So I would think they'd be like around people, but not like
but like there's probably going to be no party situations. But even being around people that you're with all the time, sometimes you still feel lonely, especially if you're used to like I want to go out, bro. Can we go out? No,
that's what I mean. I didn't know if it would like perhaps be like high staff and kind of the members. And just stuff
when people
like that,
start super reaching too.
And the soup was it's not six. It's not him and his members.
Nah,
but no, there's 6 people there. He makes a 7th.
No, it's 7, but that's 7 members of BTS and 1 extra person represents Army.
Okay, what about him though?
You want to get there?
What about him though?
But the one was. Remember, we said the mirror.
No,
would have been
it's 7
him,
people altogether, right?
4 guys, 4 girls, and him. That's 9.
No, we said it would have been the mirror version of him, though, right? At least for that one sequence. But nonetheless.
Sorry, Keith, I didn't get to see this 4 times like you did.
I just know how to count. I'm sorry.
Comment, subscribe.
My bad. My bad. My wrist might be ticking. Like, that's all. That's all I know. I'm saying. Yeah, me. No, but even then, I didn't even really process it. Like even when I saw it before, because it really wasn't for me. It was for the other person I was reacting for. But no, all in all, I thought this was fly. Bringing back the word, we're gonna make it fly.
No, I definitely like this a lot, and just to speak on like a little bit of the things that I was interpreting with everything, but speaking on it here because we had checked out the live on Fallon first, so I got like some of that off in that, but just to touch on it and kind of how it's interpreted, at least in the choreo here, is like it definitely seems like that to me. I like how kind of everything opens up, just to kind of briefly go through is like. I like how, there's that embracing in the beginning, kind of whether it represents, any bit of the alcoholism or kind of what that represents to you, looking like moments you want to break away, but then getting pulled back into it, kind of representative of a vice, if it's interpreted that way. The moments where everyone kind of couples up and then you're left alone again, or like whatever was embracing you before is now kind of like turned its back to you seemingly, or just you don't feel that same kind of connect with what originally enticed you perhaps. And then kind of when you bookend that again with kind of having to, walk down that kind of lonely path to, and this is certainly that's something that's in the live as opposed to here, if I'd seen this first. But basically when you kind of walk back to that, the liquor counter or whatever, and try to get that next drink, basically kind of just repeating that cycle again, because you're alone. So I just think that all that was really well conveyed. And just to lastly touch on what this does in this video itself, is that the camera pulls back a little bit as he walks away to that final spot, kind of alienating him a little bit more in the frame, making him smaller, less significant. We kind of
giving a wider shot, wider frame.
Exactly. So those power dynamics that are conveyed in film, even though this is more of a, because it doesn't have to be as cinematic, quote unquote, not being an MV or anything like that. But I thought that was a really nice touch to kind of aid, the impact of what's being told here. So I thought all that was really great as well. The moments where there's that the members are circling around him, the background dancers, and basically he's kind of getting tugged in each which direction, which certainly again conveys the drunk disorderly kind of you're just floating through whatever environment you're there. You're present but you're not engaged, or you're engaged or you're present physically but you're not kind of mentally or emotionally there perhaps. So just again all that escapism and just kind of psychedelic trip aspects, I guess, that would serve into that setting. So I just thought all that was so conveyed, and it was was conveyed so well. And then when you have the mirroring kind of aspect, where there's that kind of 2-on, I guess, dance for lack of a better term, and then they end up going behind them, and it's certainly reflective of the mirror and everything, because that's what's conveyed in the MV. But I do also like that kind of shadow self sort of thing, where it's like they go behind them and kind of fall back and everything. So it's just like that repressed version of yourself or something like that, or there's just so many interpretations with that, you know, whether it's conveyed, like I love that the concept is so open-ended in the sense that it's conveyed literally through, you know, the partying aspects, but then all the interpretations that could go into that, and it's like whether intended or not, I just love that there's so much thought to where it lends itself to that much. And I just honestly, like, you know, just on the physical dancing itself, I just really loved everything that was presented here, and you know, it just really makes me proud of everything he's put forth in this album, and multiple choreographies, songs, the production, all these aspects, and you know, he just really snapped. And for the hook to be as hypnotic as it is and have so much applications and replayability as well, you know, I just think it bodes incredibly well both for Jimin and for BTS.
It's funny because hypnotic's a drink too.
There's a reason.
You think what you would add to?
Fire track.
I felt the same way I felt on the album review. So,
the album review, the Fallon, the music video. I mean, nothing really's changed over the last 4, and you know, and
that basketball
versions of it's so out of place.
Because I feel like there's, I don't know why I always feel like they're shooting in Suge House.
Right, it's so out of place.
Looks like you got an hour,
and you don't even see like the random basketball anywhere. It's just there. It's like so out of place.
Yeah, I fuck with it too though, because I don't feel like that's just like quote unquote a hype joint. Because I don't know if I've seen TXT or anybody else in here. Y'all remember them ever being in here?
Not specifically.
I can't remember which group, but somebody else was in there.
It'd be hype related though, obviously. So I wonder,
it was either
like
17 or TXT. Yeah. It might have been TXT.
I know TXT with the recent album that they had dropped as well, respectfully. I just didn't remember this.
Or in Hyphen.
Or in Hyphen, I want to know.
What was he?
Like, Hyphen doesn't share that thing, nah.
No, I think I believe it actually probably wasn't Hyphen.
No, I can see it.
It really is just Suge House. That'd be fun.
He's in the back somewhere looking like that.
He's
like, come downstairs for such a time.
Yum.
For such a time.
Like, comment, subscribe. #Redeemers. Let us know what other content we should jump into. If you're not subscribed, I don't know what's going on.
Also, would love to hear any of your kind of theories, you know, whatever they may be. Just kind of, you know, it's open to interpretation, so it's always interesting to kind of hear other people's takes too.
17 shot anyone there.
Okay.
Really? Mm-hmm. This was around since anyone?
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, because anyone would have just been like a year and a half ago or something at this point. So
I just feel like it's a more recent kind of stuff. Hey, time flies.
He's like, hey, fuck. Pretty sure BTS probably was shot in there too.
Well, no, because I think they also used the room the long way to shoot on.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think that room is used in different ways because
there's a curtain there that you could just pull back and make the room bigger. In fact, it's on both sides actually.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I feel like they shot Run in here.
Yeah, I can see that too.
I thought it was like an actual like gymnasium though, like a full kind of open gymnasium.
Oh, they got their own facilities.
That's awesome though.
Having a fucking old basketball court as your dance joint, crazy. You open the curtain up, like you said. I think that's only half the joint, if I'm not mistaken, because they do bigger joints in there, and it just be open, which is wild.
You hit a 3, Dynamite play.
Like, comment, subscribe, #Redeemers. Let us know what other BTS content we should get into. Army Redeemers, thank you so much for all y'all patience, for all y'all guidance, for all the good knowledge that y'all give us. Great conversation and great energy. We love y'all. We're going to continue to support y'all.
Take care.
Peace.